Welcome back to the Underground Safari. As you can see here, we have a bunch of fresh chicken eggs that we've got loaded up into our still air incubator. What we've done to be able to keep track of the turns we make on the eggs to keep the embryos from getting stuck to the membrane is we've taken a pencil and we've simply marked an X on one side of the egg. And so we're doing that so we can keep track of which side it's been rolled through. We're trying to roll these eggs about 3 to 5 times a day just to keep the embryos functioning, growing, and on pace with what they should be doing in their cycle. And so I definitely want to encourage people to use multiple thermometers. And so what we've got here is a digital thermometer that also keeps track of humidity. I'm going to put that in the corner just to try to keep track of the temperature in the far corner of this still air incubator. And then I've also got a mercury filled thermometer that I simply will place right on top of the eggs. And then once we go ahead and add the lid of the incubator, we also have a third thermometer and humidity monitor, but I don't really want to trust this one because it's so far above. Okay, so me and the kids have got about 33 eggs loaded up in our still air incubator. We're monitoring our humidity so that it stays relatively around 40 to 60%. When I get to about the 18th day, and I'm gonna keep my environment locked down prior to the hatch, I'm gonna kick that humidity level up to about 80%. And with the still air incubator, one of the little tricks I've learned through hatching eggs over the years is that if you can just take some kitchen sink sponges and cut them up, you can soak them with water and kind of place them around the corners of the incubator, and that typically will help you to raise your humidity levels. Where I live is in northern New Mexico, so it's very high desert and arid, and we don't have much for humidity. So it can be really tricky towards the end of your hatch to get the humidity levels right, and that's extremely important for the chicks because when they start to pipe the shell, they're going to need to be able to break loose of the membrane. And if that humidity level isn't high enough, the chick is going to stick to the shell or not be able to pip all the way out of it, basically because the humidity is too high and they'll be stuck to that membrane. And so I don't typically worry as much about the humidity until I get to those last 3 days. That's when you really want to be on your humidity levels. But you definitely want to be monitoring your temperature throughout. And the sweet spot for incubating chicken eggs is, again, 99.5. But if you can keep it right in there to about 102, that's the range you want to be in. Personally, I actually have 3 different thermometers in here. One is digital, and I have it in the back corner of the incubator. And then I have one that's a mercury-filled thermometer that I just sit right on top of the eggs. And that gives me probably the most accurate read of my temperature because it's sitting right underneath the element of the still air incubator. And one downfall of a still air incubator is that different spots of the incubator can become too cold or too hot. So you really want to be monitoring your temperature range throughout the environment inside the incubator. And that's why I would suggest adding a couple temperature gauges beyond just the one that's on top of the incubator itself. Because the incubator gauge that's on top of the box is actually about 4 or 5 inches away from the top of the eggs. So I found that it tends to run a lot cooler than the temperature gauges I've added to the inside of the incubator environment. So we're gonna go ahead and keep turning these eggs about 3 to 5 times a day. We wanna make sure, again, that the embryos are not sticking to the membrane. And if you think about a chicken, she's moving those eggs all day long. So the more you can move the eggs, the better off you're gonna be with your hatch rate. And you just definitely wanna be attentive to your eggs and to their environment and making sure that if it's hot inside of your house, that the incubator is thriving and not getting too hot, or in the evening that it's not getting too cold. So we've been really careful about trying to keep the bedroom door shut, and we've just got our incubator kind of in an extra man cave room that's nice and cool, that doesn't have too many temperature fluctuations in the environment itself. And so we're very much hoping for a good hatch, and we'll keep you posted. So we're nearing day 7. Got our Turkin crossed with silky eggs, and also some Pekin Frizzle crossed with silky Bantam chickens. And the kids have been doing a good job helping me rotate the eggs several times a day. This is the evening. We've been checking our temperature as well, trying to make sure that stays right around 99.5 to about 100. And this is just a cheaper incubator. There's no egg turner in it, and it is a still air incubator. So you got to be real careful to watch your temperature and also be on your humidity. And you want to make sure and be attentive to your eggs if you want to have a good hatch when the time is right. So, say what's up, Aspen?
Hi.
Hunter.
What's up?
All right. So we'll keep you posted.